How is it that you're working with the clients, if you would call them that, right? The guests at your retreat. As you see it, are you working in the astral realm, in the spirit world, in a non-ordinary reality? Are you engaging with people from an energy field perspective? How is it that your training, your lineage has a language for this from your experience as a shaman?
Really all of them that you mentioned happening at the same time, which is why training is so important. And in the real lineages, you're looking at anywhere from 5 to 15 years of training to ultimately know how to hold all of those different spaces simultaneously. So there's part of it, which is managing the physical space and making sure that everyone just in the rooted, physical bodies are okay and they're, contained and supported in a way that it's safe now to go into these other aspects. And then there are the energetics themselves, and part of the maintenance of the room and making sure everyone's okay is that the energies are all being managed appropriately. Then there's collective fields that are being managed. There are communicative fields that are also being managed. At the same time, there's a great expansion of what would be considered the ordinary into the non-ordinary. And I like to relanguage that and kind of reframe it that the ordinary is a tremendous reduction of the non-ordinary. And so the way we created the ordinary was there was non-ordinary, and we reduced it to things that are very repetitive in our awareness. So we reduced the amount of information, literally trillions upon trillions of stimuli a second. And so you become aware of that, and you have to know how to manage that. And within it, that's where you find spirits, that's where you find entities, that's where you find these energetic forms. You need to know how to manage those for everybody at the same time. At the same time, you have people going through different phases of the experience. So you have to be able to help people that are going into the experience and others having, full realizations, and know how to manage that. So all of that's taking place. There's a kind of psychic awareness, a greater general visionary field that opens up that we're all part of, that is being managed. And then there's the energies that are coming into the ceremony and the energies that are coming out of the ceremony. And it's our role and job to make sure that all of that's being managed, appropriately, so that everyone is safe through the entirety of the experience.
In the National Geographic article about the idea of a shared perception, clients having their ayahuasca experiences, maybe 4, 5, 6 other people alongside having a different experience, and you as shaman tapping in to that visionary space that the client's experiencing. What's happening there from your experience?
Well, I think there are a number of phenomena that are taking place at the same time to make that possible. First, you get trained in vision. And so you learn how to hold a shared common vision amongst the people that you train with. For me, that was a massive transformation in my own psyche from before to after. And it's a fundamental shift or change that takes place. And so when I started, at first, I didn't have any of those kinds of experiences. And then the people I trained with ultimately took me through a series of trainings that then opened to that communication with them. You get into a really powerful visionary space that it's like I say, you can see the air, you can see what would be normally non-visible. And as you connect with somebody in that space, a lot of people call it third eye, but as you truly connect with somebody into a kind of telepathic communication, which is very potent inside ayahuasca, it's like a linking, like two things link. And when that link takes place, it's fundamentally real, like two cell phones that talk to each other. And as soon as that link is made, then you start to open up a shared common field. And based on what's taking place inside that vision is then dependent on how you're going to manage the next pieces of the ceremony. So, if you're helping somebody and you make that link and you see that they're in need, you're going to see what they're in need about. There's a context, there's a mythology, there's a visual field associated with that. Maybe they're struggling to purge something, or maybe they have a blockage in their body, or in the case of the National Geographic article, it was a person dealing with dark entities. And so that becomes, information that is shared in the visionary field, and then you have to know how to intervene. So we intervene with Ikaro, invocation, and the different allies that we've made through the training in the visionary realms. And fundamentally, they're light beings. And so they're readily available once you have created that allyship, and you can work with them. So you invoke them, you call on them, and then they start to appear in the other people's visions. And that's ultimately how that shared context gets created.